After what feels like 2,000 years and about 6 final seasons, Attack on Titan has come to an end. It's probably no exaggeration to say that this series has been a central piece of our cultural discourse for the last decade. While I have seen plenty of positive reception toward the finale, and it gave a satisfying enough conclusion for most anime-only viewers, the final episode left a few questions unanswered. So I'm going to address one of them today. Why was Mikasa chosen by Ymir? Why was she important to the story? Attack on Titan is full of mysteries. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comments below. There is a good chance I will make a follow-up video where I answer all of the questions from the comments here. Now, we're told that Ymir was waiting 2,000 years for Mikasa specifically to break the curse of the Titans. But when asked the question, why Mikasa, even Eren doesn't have a real answer. Isayama didn't give us a discrete answer. Only Ymir knows that. Right? Well, I think I have a good idea of the reasons, so I'll do my best to answer that question in a way that is easier to understand. First of all, I think it's a little more complicated than what we're told. Eren, Mikasa, and Armin are all needed to end the curse of the Titans. This wasn't a job for a single protagonist, and many of the small moments in the story built toward the resolution. This is one of the greatest strengths of Isayama's writing. It was Eren who gave Ymir the choice to be free. If he hadn't done this, Ymir would have remained in the paths forever, and Mikasa would have never been able to reach her. Eren treated Ymir like a real person, with a dignity and her own sense of agency. He brought her back out into the real world when he started the rumbling. Even Zeke had no intention of ever doing this. If he had succeeded in his plan to eradicate all of the Eldians by sterilizing them, Ymir would have remained in the path, alone and tortured, in a timeless prison for all of eternity. That's pretty terrifying, and Eren saved her from that horrible fate, even if she brought unimaginable destruction as a result. Armin was instrumental to the final battle, and even Levi acknowledges that he made the right choice to bring Armin to the end. Let's think about that. Now, Erwin was a fantastic commander, and I acknowledge the possibility that he could have come up with some epic, not quite impossible scheme, maybe to sacrifice their own humanity in order to blow up Eren and put an end to the rumbling. Or even before that, come up with a plan to work together with Eren to end the dominance of Marley and the threat of the outside world that was hanging over Paradis. Erwin had this broad-scale charisma. He could give an epic speech that would have made everyone charge along with him and see it through to the end. But this wouldn't have freed Ymir. This wouldn't have ended the curse of the Titans. Armin does his part in accomplishing this by giving Eren the resolve needed to see things through. Armin can't motivate 100 soldiers the way Erwin can, but he has a special, more personal type of charisma that allows him to touch the heart of one person at a time. We see it again and again throughout the series, and in this case, it was Eren's heart that he influenced. Look at the scenes they share together in the final act. Although these conversations were erased from Armin's memory, they gave Eren the peace of mind that was necessary to keep moving forward. Armin doesn't absolve Eren of his guilt, but he helps share the emotional burden of completing the steps that were needed to achieve our end state. Because he had Armin's support, Eren didn't falter on this path that eventually led to Ymir's freedom and the end of the curse. Armin also neutralizes Zeke's philosophy by reminding him of the value of these so-called meaningless and trivial everyday experiences and the joy of living. There is beauty in seeing an autumn leaf that fell from a tree in your childhood memory, or playing a game of catch with your father. We never saw Erwin have this kind of conversation with anyone, and I doubt things would have played out the same way, especially because he was lacking the personal connection that Armin had with Eren. That connection is a detriment at times in the final seasons, but it was ultimately needed by the end. Now, finally, I'll answer the main question of this topic. What was Mikasa's role in this story to secure Ymir's freedom, and why was she needed for it? Mikasa is strong, but was she the only person who could have cut off Eren's head? Why couldn't Levi do it? Could Hanji have done it? Could Sasha have done it? The truth is that Ymir had been alone her entire life, even when she was around other people. Her childhood ended abruptly and brutally, and she was given nothing as she matured into adulthood. She saw other people experiencing connections around her and had some idea of what love might look like, but she was desperately searching for the feeling of being loved. Having no experience with a positive, healthy relationship, she mistook King Fritz's abusive treatment as love. By seeing the world through Mikasa's eyes, she was able to learn some important things about the nature of humanity and relationships. But what was truly important was Mikasa's final lesson. It's possible to love something and still let go of it. There was no longer any way to save Eren. Remaining in the paths and faithfully obeying him for 2,000 years wouldn't have ended the rumbling or fixed the current situation. It didn't cause King Fritz to love Ymir, because Fritz never loved her. She had to discard that unhealthy attachment she had formed and let it go. The curse of the Titans was Ymir's own curse. The curse of loving someone who is toxic. Instead of taking the spear, she should have allowed Fritz to die, just as Mikasa allowed Eren to die. Now, I want to say this. Ymir led a tragic life, and it's easy for us to say that we would have done things differently. But for her, a victim of abuse who suffered from learned helplessness, she needed to see someone else break the cycle first before she could find the courage to do it herself. And because Mikasa was able to let go of her love for Eren, Ymir was also inspired. Ymir was able to let go of her love for King Fritz, and finally put an end to the curse. No one else could have filled this role in the story, and it once again relies on the personal attachments shared specifically by people who had a strong relationship with the holder of the Attack Titan and its ability to perceive all of time at once. That was very essential. So then, why did it have to be Mikasa? It was because of the love that she had for Eren, and her willingness to set that love aside for the greater good. If you're interested in other anime and manga reviews, subscribe to the channel. I might even talk about your favorite series in the next video. But for now, enjoy the rest of your day.